Hola, hello there. Welcome to our Spanish lesson today. You'll be needing some equipment for your learning today. First of all, some paper to write on and a pen or a pencil to write with. So if you don't have those things in front of you now, pause the video, pop and get them, and then press play when you're ready to continue. Today, we're going to be practicing the names of some different languages in Spanish and also practicing how to say either I speak or someone else speaks a different language. First of all, then, let's see how much you know about Spanish itself. And you'll need your piece of paper and your pencil for this because we have some true or false questions. So just note down your answers as we go through. Question number one: Spanish is spoken in 20 countries. Is that true or false? So note down your answer. And number two: Spanish is one of at least four languages spoken in Spain. Is that true or false? So, Spanish is one of at least four languages spoken in Spain. Number three, the Spanish spoken in Spain is also known as Castellano. Is that true or false, do you think? The Spanish spoken in Spain is also known as Castellano. Question number four, Spanish is essentially a mixture of Latin and Arabic. Is that true or false? Spanish is essentially a mixture of Latin and Arabic. Number five, the Spanish alphabet has 27 letters. True or false? Now, the Spanish alphabet has 27 letters. And finally, question six. In Spanish, there are four ways of saying you. Is that true or false, do you think? In Spanish, there are four ways of saying you. Okay, let's have a look at the answers then. So, number one, Spanish is spoken in 20 countries. That is true. Yes, it is. So, question number two, Spanish is one of at least four languages spoken in Spain. Of course, the majority of people do speak Spanish, but there are also some regional languages. There's Catalan, there is the Basque language, and there is also Galician, which is called Gallego, which is spoken by a lot of people. And there are also some smaller languages as well. So, that one is true. Number three, the Spanish spoken in Spain is also known as Castellano. That one is true because it tends to be used to differentiate Spanish from the Spanish that is spoken in South America. Then, number four, Spanish is essentially a mixture of Latin and Arabic. That is true because, of course, the Roman Empire encompassed Spain and Portugal. The Romans were there for a long time. They left their language behind. And the Arabic invasion happened in 711 AD, and they were there for over 700 years, finally leaving in 1492. So they left a lot of their language behind as well. Then number five, the Spanish alphabet has 27 letters. Yes, it does. And of course, the extra one is the ñ with the tilde on. And formerly, there used to be 30 letters in the Spanish alphabet because ch counted as a letter, the double L, the ll, counted as a letter, and the double R, the r, that also counted as another letter. But they simplified the alphabet quite recently, and now there are only 27 letters, with the ñ being the extra one. And question six, in Spanish, there are four ways of saying you. That also is true because we have two informal ways of saying you that you'd use with friends and family, and two formal ways of saying you, which you tend to use with people who are older than you or people that you don't know very well. And as well as that, we've got singular and plural. So we have tú, which is singular and informal, usted, which is singular and formal, vosotros, which is plural and informal, and ustedes, which is plural and formal. But don't worry, we just tend to use the singular and informal one in most of our work. So we found out, didn't we, that there are 20 countries where Spanish is spoken. Now I'm going to give you 30 seconds on a timer to name as many Spanish speaking countries as you can. You can quickly write them down or you can name them out loud, but you have 30 seconds. Go. 10 seconds left. And time is up. So, how do you think you've done? Have you named some countries where Spanish is spoken apart from Spain? Let's have a look and see how many there are. So, here's a poem which has in it all 20 countries where Spanish is spoken. So, follow the poem as I read it and see if there are any that you did get or any that you haven't got. Los países hispanohablantes. Un poema. 20 países en el mundo hispanohablantes son Ecuador, El Salvador, Colombia y Perú. Guinea Ecuatorial en África está. República Dominicana, Panamá, Bolivia, Argentina, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Chile, Guatemala, Venezuela, Honduras y Cuba, Paraguay, Uruguay, México y España. Did you get any of those? Of course, most of these countries do have the same name in Spanish as they do in English. There will be a couple, though, that you might not be aware of. In the third verse, it refers to Guinea Equatorial, which in English is called Equatorial Guinea. And Equatorial Guinea is in the west of Africa, so it's the only Spanish speaking place in Africa. And then in the fourth verse, we have República Dominicana. And República Dominicana in English is the Dominican Republic, which is in the Caribbean. So it says there all 20 countries where Spanish is spoken. Let's read it one more time. Los países hispanohablantes. Un poema. 20 países en el mundo hispanohablantes son Ecuador, El Salvador, Colombia y Perú. Guinea Ecuatorial en África está. República Dominicana, Panamá, Bolivia, Argentina, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Chile, Guatemala, Venezuela, Honduras y Cuba, Paraguay, Uruguay, México y España. If you wanted to, you could pause the video and have a look at the different flags and work out which flag goes with which of those countries as well. So last time we were learning the names, weren't we, of 6 different languages. Here they are on the left. Let's see if you can remember what they mean in English. So firstly, Inglés. Inglés, can you remember what that is? Right, it's English. How about Español? Quite an easy one. Spanish. And Francés. Francés is French. What about Gallés? Can you remember what that one is? Gallés. That's right, it's Welsh. And what about Alemán? Alemán, German. And finally, Chino. That's right, that one is Chinese. Let's have a practice then of those 6 languages. Escuchad y repetid. Inglés, inglés, español, español, francés, francés, galés, galés, alemán, alemán, chino, chino, inglés, español, francés, galés, alemán, chino. Of course, we were also using the flags, weren't we, to help us to practice these different languages. So let's just have a quick practice of them just to remind ourselves of the flags. Escuchad y repetid. Inglés, español, francés, galés, alemán, chino. Now, do you remember this verb? It's an infinitive, isn't it? Because it ends in AR. Can you remember what this infinitive means in English? That's right, it means to speak, doesn't it? Now, if we're going to be talking about ourselves and what we speak, we're going to need to change the English, aren't we? So we need to change the English to I speak, and we need to change the Spanish as well. So in Spanish, it becomes hablo with the o on the end, and in English, it would be I speak. So we need to make changes in both languages to make it make sense. So here we have a wheel that has on it all of our 6 languages, and it's going to spin and choose one of the languages for us each time. When it's chosen one, I'd like you to say the sentence with hablo for I speak in front of it. So hablo and then the language that it has chosen. Let's go for the first one. How do we say I speak that language? Hablo alemán. Hablo alemán. Let's go for another one. Or how do we say that we speak this one? Have you got it? Hablo chino. Hablo chino. And the next one? Or how do we say we speak this language? Hablo español. Hablo español. 3 left. What's going to be next? How do we say we speak this language? Hablo galés. Hablo galés. 2 left. Which one will be next? How do we say that we speak this language? That's it. Hablo inglés. Hablo inglés. And finally, let's get the last one. How do we say we speak this language? Hablo francés. Hablo francés. Well done. Let's have a practice of sentences where you have more than one language, if you speak more than one language. So this person would say, I speak French and German. So how would we put that sentence together? We need to add something, don't we? What would we say? Hablo francés y alemán. So we need to put the y in there, don't we? Hablo francés y alemán. What would this one be then? Hablo inglés y chino. Hablo inglés y chino. We also saw, didn't we, that you can say that you do speak some languages, but that you don't speak another one. So this person would say, hablo galés y alemán. I speak Welsh and German, but this person does not speak French. So how would you say, but I don't speak French? That's right, you need a conjunction, don't you? You need pero. And how do you say I don't speak? No hablo. Hablo galés y alemán, pero no hablo francés. Hablo galés y alemán, pero no hablo francés. So here are 3 people telling us a language they do speak and a language they don't speak. What I'd like you to do is to press pause, work out the sentences that they would say, of course, using pero for but, as well as hablo and no hablo, and then press play again when you're ready to go through the answers. So press pause, see if you can work those out, and press play when you're ready to continue. So person number 1 then says, I speak English, but I don't speak Welsh. So that one is hablo inglés, pero no hablo galés. Person number two does speak Spanish but doesn't speak German. Hablo español, pero no hablo alemán. And person number three does speak French but doesn't speak Chinese. So they would say, hablo francés, pero no hablo chino. How did you get on with those? Did you get them right? Well done. Now, I'm asking you a question here, and it doesn't say hablo, and it doesn't say no hablo. It says hablas. ¿Hablas español? ¿Hablas español? Any ideas what that might mean? ¿Hablas español? So here we have hablar, and we know that that is the infinitive. It means to speak. So it ends in AR in Spanish, has to on the front in English. So those are both infinitives. And we saw, didn't we, that to change it, we have to change the English from to speak to I speak. And we also make changes to the Spanish as well. And what we did was we crossed off that AR because we don't need it for I speak, but it shows us which set of endings we're going to need for this particular verb. So we know that I speak is hablo. So we've crossed off the AR. The bit that's left over is called the stem, the able bit, and we've put the O on the end of the stem to make hablo, which means I speak. Now, there are other changes, of course, that we can make for different people. If we want to say you speak, we've made a different change in English, and we're going to make a different change in Spanish too. So again, we cross off that AR, we're left with the stem, which is able, and we're going to put a different ending on the end. So if we want to say you speak, that's that informal singular you that we were talking about before, then we say hablas. So hablas is you speak. Here it's in a question. ¿Hablas español? ¿Hablas español? And of course, because it's in a question, we don't say you speak, we say do you speak? In Spanish, though, you speak Spanish, hablas español, and do you speak Spanish, hablas español, are identical. It's the tone of the voice that really make the difference. When you ask a question, you have to make your voice go up at the end. ¿Hablas español? ¿Hablas español? And that's contrasted with hablas español, you speak Spanish. So let's have a practice of asking the question with hablas, do you speak, and then the language afterwards. So here's our wheel again. We're going to select the languages like we did before, but this time, instead of saying hablo, I speak, we're going to ask the question, hablas, and then say the language. Let's pick the first one. Which one's it going to be? Here we are. So how do we say, do you speak German? Do you speak German? Have you got it? ¿Hablas alemán? ¿Hablas alemán? And the next one. Oh, what question was I asking you before? Can you remember this one? ¿Hablas español? ¿Hablas español? And the next one. Oh, how would you ask somebody, do you speak English? ¿Hablas inglés? ¿Hablas inglés? What's going to be next? How do you say to somebody, do you speak Chinese? ¿Hablas chino? ¿Hablas chino? And how do you ask somebody, do you speak Welsh? ¿Hablas galés? ¿Hablas galés? And let's get that last one again. How do you say to somebody, do you speak French? ¿Hablas francés? ¿Hablas francés? Well done. So we've seen, haven't we, that we have the infinitives, hablar and to speak, that we have to make changes to both of those if we're going to be saying in English and in Spanish which exact person is doing the speaking. So we chop off the AR and add O for hablo, I speak. We chop off the AR and add as, hablas, for you speak. Now, we can also do this for either he speaks or she speaks. And the good thing about Spanish is that he and she take the same form of the verb. So he speaks and she speaks is going to be the same word. So we're going to chop off that AR again. We don't need it anymore. It just shows us which set of endings we're going to use. We get our stem, able, and this time we're going to put a on the end. So habla is he speaks or she speaks. So sometimes you might have to read around the sentence to work out exactly who the he or the she is. And we can, of course, make it clearer by putting a name in front. So let's see what we can say about these people and the languages that they speak. So this person is saying, I speak German. But what would we say about her? How would we say she speaks German? We'd say habla alemán. Oh, this person speaks Spanish. How would we say he speaks Spanish? Habla español. Oh, this superhero speaks French. How would we say he speaks French? Habla francés. Now, he speaks Chinese. How would we say he speaks Chinese? Habla chino. Habla chino. And this superhero speaks Welsh. How would we say she speaks Welsh? Habla galés. And she speaks English. How are we going to say she speaks English? Habla inglés. Habla inglés. Oh, let's do a little bit of practice then with those 6 languages and our verb forms hablo, hablas, and habla. And if you remember from when we learned the verb to go, we know that it's always listed in a certain order, don't we? I, you, he, she. Hablo, hablas, habla. On the left there, you have 6 sentences in English, and I would like you please to write down how you would say those 6 sentences in Spanish. All the words that you need are in the yellow table there. So pause the video, write down those 6 sentences, and then press play when you're ready to check them. Have you got them all written down? Let's check. So number 1, I speak German. Hablo alemán. So o on the end because it's I. Number 2, do you speak Chinese? Hablas chino? Hablas chino? So AS on the end because it's you. Number 3, she speaks French. Habla francés. Habla francés. So it's got the at on the end because it's he and she. Number 4, do you speak English? Hablas inglés? Hablas inglés? Again, as ending because it's you. And number 5, he speaks Welsh. Habla galés. Habla galés. And then number 6 is an example of where you can clarify exactly who the he or the she is by putting a name in. Juan speaks Spanish. Juan habla español. And of course, it has to be habla because Juan is a he. And the English also gives us a clue, doesn't it? Because the English speaks is the only time that we add extra letters to the verb word. I speak, you speak, he or she speaks. So Juan speaks Spanish, Juan habla español. So how did you get on with those? Did you get them all right? I think you better have a quick check and make sure you've got your upside down question marks in and that you have the accents on alemán, francés, inglés, galés, and español. So have a quick check of those for me. So muy buen trabajo, good work today. So we've been working on our 6 languages and saying either that I speak, you speak, or he or she speaks those languages. Well done. Adios. See you next time.